Hello and welcome. Today I'm not in nature, I'm out photographing tennis, and I want to talk about tennis just to give you a few little tips about sports photography. Uh, First one is the benefits of a cloudy day. See, we have a cloudy day. It's been cloudy all day. It did rain earlier and had a delay on the tennis because tennis you don't play in the rain. It's even more so than in baseball. But what the cloudy conditions do, the cloudy sky diffuses the light and makes it even. When we're photographing the sun, in the sun, we have harsh light, and we definitely want to photograph with the sun on our back. So we're really at our back, so it's lighting up our subject, the sports, the game, the athletes. But with a cloudy sky, we don't have to worry about that. So today I was blessed with being able just to shoot any direction I needed to shoot. So that was good. Another thing I'm going to talk about today is shooting an aperture priority for sports. Many people think you should shoot in shutter speed priority, but no, you want to shoot in aperture priority. That's AV if you're Canon, and most other ones it's just an A on your camera. And shooting aperture priority allows you to control your aperture, and you want it at about 2.8 or 4.0 to give you a wide open aperture. So that you blur out the background. I'm going to switch my hands here. Gets a little tired holding one. You blur out the background, and so that the attention of the viewer is brought to the athlete, and the athlete really pops off the background, and it's less distracting. And the bonus of that is that's going to generally increase your shutter speed. So that's another thing you want to do is photograph with a fast shutter speed. So I'm showing some pictures here as we go along, and you can see they have a fast shutter speed, and I'll put the shutter speed up on some of them just so you see what that shutter speed does and how it freezes the ball and things like that. So yeah, I can see that. Just take a look at some of those images and see what's happening with the action, because you want to stop that action. And another thing I want to talk about is getting a mix of verticals and horizontal when you're photographing any sports. Most sports are going to go with vertical, including tennis, and that's probably where you're going to shoot the predominant number of images is going to be vertical, because people are vertical and athletes are vertical, and that's what we generally shoot. But you're also going to want to photograph horizontally from time to time, and that just gives a different look. And in tennis, it allows you to see the ball coming in and have the racket go back, and it just gives a little space. But it also what it's going to do is make up for a lot of missed shots, because you want to have the racket, the ball, and the face of somebody in any photograph. In any photograph of tennis, generally there'll be some times that you don't, and I'll throw some of those up there, or it's just maybe the person, but you want to have their face generally in there. And so that's pretty common. Get those mix of horizontals and verticals, and again, most shots are going to be a vertical. One last tip, there are times I mentioned having that aperture wide open, like 2.8 or 4. There are situations where you may not want to have it at 2.8 or 4. Is like when there's more than one person, maybe 2 or 3. Now today I took pictures of athletes talking to coaches, and whenever I did that, I went up to about 5.6 just to get the athletes and the coach in focus, and I'll throw some of those up there on the screen for you. And just you want to get a little bit more depth of field on those. And sometimes when I want to anticipate the athletes giving high fives or fist bumps or things like that, or sometimes in tennis they slap rackets, I may open up my aperture a little bit more to get a little bit more in focus for those. So there's another tip there. Sometimes you want to stop down that aperture to like 5.6 or maybe a little more, depending on what you're trying to photograph, just to get a little bit more in focus. So there you have some tips today for doing some sports. And yeah, I do all these without a teleprompter, so it's going off the top of my head. I don't have that luxury of doing it that way. I just got to go off my head. So remember, check out the The website, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com, visualverse.thecreationspeaks.com.